Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
WMAL. 6:07 on O'Connor and Company. Good morning. Thanks for joining us here in your nation's capital. Start your day off the right way. Coming up at 7:05, we're going to have a conversation with Joe DeGeneva, former U.S. Attorney to the District of Columbia. At 8:05, John Lott, a crime statistics expert on what's going on with the FBI and how they're categorizing gun crime in America. 8:35, Virginia Republican Chairman Mark Peake. He's got quite a bit of work to do between now and Election Day, just 4 weeks from tomorrow. And boy, oh boy, the news cycle is not favoring Democrat politicians right now, but will that be enough? We'll talk about it all morning long. It's Larry O'Connor with the incredible, the ebullient, the brilliant, the charming, the... Oh, it's Julie Gunlock here today. I'm sorry.
Very funny.
Funny. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning.
I feel extra familiar with you this morning because we actually socialized this weekend, which is very rare for us.
Well, it was
Very
fun.
rare. We usually leave all our socializing for on air.
We do.
But then, did you notice we had like a crowd of people around us, and they expected us to sort of do our shtick?
Yeah, they did.
And you didn't disappoint.
I did not. Nope. I do love to poke at you.
She calls me names, everybody, just so you know. If you ever see us out in public or socializing, she calls me names. And then I take it out on her long-suffering husband.
Yes.
And it all works out. It all works out.
My husband adores you, so you can continue to do that. That's just
Does
fine.
He?
He does. Yes.
I adore him right back.
Except the Michigan stuff.
The Michigan-Ohio State thing is a problem,
Yeah.
All right, so on Friday, boy, what a news cycle we had on Friday with the Jay Jones story coming, and then, and also a court ruled that Kilmar Abrego Garcia can absolutely be deported by the Trump administration. We'll give you those details as well, your Maryland man update. And then we had the sentencing for the man responsible for the attempted kidnapping and assassination of Justice Brett Kavanaugh and his wife and children. A despicable, horrible story, which, again, I wonder if this falls under violence coming from the left. I bet it doesn't. Whenever you see those stats that say, political violence in America is overwhelmingly coming from conservatives, what about this guy who targeted Brett Kavanaugh? Do we think that this
I wonder
falls...
I wonder what Jay Jones' position is on this. Big whoop. Big whoop.
Good thing it didn't happen in Jay Jones's jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Because as Attorney General of Virginia, I don't know how he would handle a case like this.
I believe he endorses this kind of behavior.
So the sentencing came down. Let me give you the headline that NBC News put out on this. Woman sentenced to 8 years for attempting to assassinate Brett Kavanaugh. Now, of course, somebody's wrong here because I just explained to you that the man who was arrested for this was sentenced, but here's NBC News calling him a woman. How is that possible? Well, you know how it's possible. Just in the last several months, the man responsible for this horrific attempted assassination of a Supreme Court justice decided that he was in fact a woman. And maybe that's why he was feeling so tortured and misguided to attempt the assassination of Brett Kavanaugh. Or hear me out, maybe he was looking for a lighter sentence. I think it might be the latter, because that's exactly what he got. Mm-hmm. The judge in this case specifically cited the Trump administration's new guidelines that would put a biological man, regardless of how they identify themselves or wish to identify themselves, a man would serve in a prison with men. You see, under Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, this guy, identifying as trans, would end up going to a women's prison.
That's right.
So that he could further terrorize the women who are locked up behind bars. Trump has said, no, if you got boy parts, you go to the boy jail, okay? And the judge took that into account and determined that it was going to be very difficult and perhaps even dangerous when he goes to a male prison. So she lightened the sentence.
That's right.
So that this guy wouldn't serve as many years. That is absolutely... it goes beyond outrageous. It is a miscarriage of justice. And if you're Brett Kavanaugh or Brett Kavanaugh's little daughters right now, do you think you've seen justice play out? This is outrageous.
Well, and also, look, this guy said in texts and in writing, he said that the thought of Roe v. Wade and gay marriage both being repealed has me furious. And he said, noting that he was targeting at least 3 justices and planned to carry out an assassination that could alter decisions on the 9-member court for decades to come. And this guy got a light sentence. Mm-hmm. It is absolutely sickening. And look, I mean, we are seeing this kind of terrorism in the United States. We are seeing a lot of trans identified individuals terrorizing, murdering, assassinating people because of their views. And then this judge goes off and does this and basically conveys to that community, you'll get off light if you do
On
this.
June 8th, 2022, Rosk flew from California to Virginia, took a taxi to Kavanaugh's address armed with a pistol, knife, lock-picking set, duct tape, hammer, crowbar, and tactical gear. Oh, but Paul Pelosi. Oh, Paul Pelosi. Ross pleaded guilty in April to one charge of attempting to murder a Supreme Court justice, which carries a maximum sentence of life in prison. So the crime that he admitted to in court and pled guilty to carries a life sentence. Judge Boardman, a Biden appointee, said she factored into the sentence her concern for the attempted assassin. Not her concern for, and she's a judge, by the way. You know, you would think that you would lay out some sort of marker here, some sort of standard, so that judges can rule without looking over their shoulder thinking that they're going to be assassinated. You send a message. This is unacceptable in Western civilization and in the United States of America. It's why we have some form of constitutional republics where we can be governed without threat of violence. If an elected official, or a judge in this case, is in some way under fire politically for the decisions that they make. Boardman, a Biden appointee, said she factored into the sentence her concern about Trump's executive order requiring transgender inmates to be detained in prisons that correspond to their sex at birth. So in other words, it worked. It worked. He was facing life imprisonment. He said, hey, I'm really a woman, and I'm going to get persecuted. And the judge said, okay, 8 years, which, by the way, these days means 4 years.
Is this judge also blind to the fact that we are seeing so much violence out of the transgender community? She literally sent a message to that community that if you do this, you will get, if you actually act on these fantasies that you have, you will get a lighter sentence because of your mental illness, because of this identity that you have. It actually can work in your favor.
Boardman, the judge said that while Roski's actions were reprehensible, I'm reading Fox News' write-up, by the way, the judge also considered a string of mitigating factors, including that Roski spontaneously confessed to and cooperated with police. Oh, nice. I believe that Ms. Roski. Oh yeah. Did I forget to mention the judge insisted on using the pronouns, the female pronouns for Nicholas, who now goes by Sophie. I believe Ms. Roski understands that what she did was terribly wrong. I find her remorse sincere. There's nothing more sincere than being so confused that you think you're a woman, even though that thing that's down there between your legs.
Yeah.
We'll certainly ask Joe DeGeneva about this coming up at 7:05. But, you know, if anybody wonders why, you know, those of us who try to call foul on things like this and actually speak the truth about the transgender insanity in our society, why we are sometimes at our wits' end about this, and why we insist on using the appropriate language and the appropriate pronouns and not buy into this myth, it's because of garbage like this from a so-called judge. Did I mention it was a Biden appointee? Yeah.
WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
Your next $1,000 could be one text away. It's $5K a day on WMAL.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch. I want to tell you, Kavanaugh. You have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
2 years later, a man is arrested with a pistol, a knife, zip ties, duct tape, with a plan to assassinate Kavanaugh, who you heard name-checked there by Chuck Schumer. And then, 3 years later, that guy gets a sentence of just 8 years slap on the wrist because he now identifies as transgender. It's quite a racket they have going there. But yeah, the violence is all coming in one direction. It's all right-wing violence in this country because Paul Pelosi. Look what happened to Paul Pelosi. Why don't you ever talk about Paul Pelosi?
By an insane person with no political affiliation. But okay, we'll just assign that to the right wing. Got it.
And then meanwhile,
this is so depressing.
There is a story coming out of North Carolina about a school bus driver, a man, who dresses up as a woman.
And doesn't convince anyone.
Yeah, I mean, and by dressing up as a woman, I mean...
Amazon wig.
Yeah, it's a wig.
Normally buy for Halloween party.
Although it's got to be a weave, because for mugshots, don't they take the wig off? I would think.
Maybe.
So maybe this is a weave.
Maybe they were being generous.
But it's a big fat dude who was allowed to continue to pretend to be a woman while driving a bus in the Charlotte, North Carolina school district. And this guy has now been arrested. Oh, by the way, he would say, "Call me Ms. Sharon."
Ms. Sharon, although his name is Leet Wayne Darrell Tate.
Leet Wayne Darrell Tate. 48-year-old dude goes by Sharon.
With a really significant 5 o'clock shadow.
And nowhere in the school system is there somebody saying, "Hey, guys, maybe not." Can I tell you something? Because of the despicable, disgusting sex scandals of the Catholic Church, which were outrageous and despicable and horrible and a shame on our church, obviously, and our faith. But since then, reforms have been put in place in America. When I joined my church's choir...
God. Yes.
What?
I know where you're going with this.
When I joined my church's adult choir, I had to go through a background check with fingerprints and just short of a polygraph. In fact, it was in the LA Archdiocese, and they actually considered doing polygraph tests
Larry,
to join the choir.
Larry, to join a field trip. My kids, I mean, you'd have to do a body cavity search. It's unbelievable what they require of parents, okay? And Lindsay Fifield said this on Twitter.
And all of us parents will say, you know what, for safety's sake, it's okay, because I don't want any creeps around my kids. Okay, I'll submit to it because it's best for the kids. Meanwhile, Ms. Sharon, 210-pound man named Leet Wayne Darrell Tate, gets to drive the school bus.
Yeah.
And I haven't even gotten to the punchline. He's been arrested, accused of assaulting at least 4 boys between the ages of 14 and 15 years old, sexual assaulting. Been arrested for 2 counts of statutory rape, 6 counts of indecent liberties with a minor.
Gosh.
But who would have seen this coming? Wow, anytime somebody gets arrested like this, the neighbors are always like, well, really normal, mild-mannered person kept to himself. I would have never imagined this is going on. Yeah, you're not hearing that about Ms. Sharon.
Don't forget also there's efforts in multiple states to take kids who identify themselves as trans and take them away from their parents who object to gender transition and put them in trans, positive, and LGBTQ homes. So taking kids away from their parents and handing them over to positive trans people. What kind of permission or background checks are those folks going to need? I mean, this is a sickness in the society of trusting these insane people with our children.
Well,
and
yes.
This is just the latest example, and we don't even know the ones that aren't caught.
It is a sickness, and it is this mind warp that they forced us all to go through. Where if you were a parent, if any parent in the Charlotte, North Carolina school district dared to object and say, what the hell is going on with Ms. Sharon being the bus driver?
Yeah, you're
for
the
my
transphobe.
Prepubescent or pubescent child. You're a bigot. You're a hater. you're ostracized, you're a transphobe, and if you're really lucky, if you speak out about it at a school board meeting, you'll have the Attorney General stick the FBI on you to investigate you as a domestic terrorist. You will shut your mouth and you will let your children be molested. It's 6:23.
Well, in more Democrat criminals getting really prestigious jobs, we'll have an update on the Des Moines superintendent. Keep it here. It's 6:30.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. WMAL. News now. Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
It is 6:37. Good morning. It's Monday, the 6th day of October. Thanks for tuning in to O'Connor and Company as we start your day here as we launch into the second week of the government shutdown. 7:05 brings us Joe DeGeneva. 8:05, we'll talk to John Lott. And at 8:35, the chairman of the Republican Party of Virginia, one Mark Peake. Things are heating up in Virginia. We'll get to all that this morning. It's Larry O'Connor with Julie Gunlock. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning.
Our favorite Maryland man, who is actually from Guyana and in the country illegally, and it appears to have fraudulently claimed he had a doctorate degree, and then was exposed as a criminal facing deportation on the run, and also the superintendent of Des Moines schools.
Unbelievable.
Dr. Ian Richards. He's as much of a doctor as Joe Biden, apparently, by the way.
Right.
But, of course, he's a Maryland man because he had been a teacher and principal in Maryland schools before he moved on to Des Moines as a superintendent. There's now new information about what was major red flags all over the place about this guy when he was serving as a principal in Baltimore. Fox 45 up in Baltimore has uncovered an old lawsuit accusing him of pressuring teachers to change students' grades. He, like most principals in Baltimore, was facing failing children and failing test scores, failing literacy scores, failing math scores. So what did he do about it? Well, he rigged the system and rigged the numbers to make it look like he was performing better as the principal and the students were performing better. And by the way, of course, who suffers? The kids who aren't getting the education that they deserve. Doesn't matter. Ian Richards just wanted to make sure that he looked good so he could move on to his next gig, in this case, ultimately, a $300,000 job in Des Moines.
Yeah, well, I hate to break it to everyone here, but this is happening not just among sort of the criminal element that has taken over our schools. This is done in Alexandria. This is done all throughout Northern Virginia. It's called grade inflation, and it happens constantly. I've talked to parents of students who say they perform at a C or D level and they get Bs because they have an interest in making it look better than it is.
I hear you. What makes this even more atrocious is that the teachers gave these failing grades.
Yep.
So you think the grade inflation has already been baked into the cake, and the teacher still ended up giving some of these students failing grades, and then the principal comes around after the fact and says, no, change the grade so that the school looks like it's performing better, so that the school board in Baltimore City and the politicians can look the other way and pretend like they don't have the education crisis that they have. Here's the interesting thing about this one. A lawsuit was filed within the Baltimore school system alleging exactly what went on here with this Dr. Ian Richards, to say, to actually hold him accountable for his actions. There was a whistleblower. There was actual accusations. There was a lawsuit filed. So the Baltimore school system brought in their legal counsel to investigate the matter. Woman named Donna Hawkins. And as the records reflect here, Donna Hawkins literally ignored every shred of evidence that was in front of her, supporting the allegations against this principal and against the school. So the school system investigated itself. Wait, where have we heard this story before? Ignored the evidence and gave the principal and the school system a clean bill of health. Nothing to see here. Meanwhile, give us all your millions of dollars of tax dollars. Make sure that the teachers union gets rich. Nobody gives a bunk about the kids who aren't getting any kind of education. And politicians like Wes Moore get to smile in front of the camera saying, we're going to leave no one behind.
Yep.
And everybody gets left behind. Listen to some of the evidence. During the school year, the plaintiff submitted the memo requesting teachers change grades without reason. From Dr. Ian Roberts to Lisa Merchant, Donna Hawkins, the investigator, Jerome Jones, the school board, and Joanne V. Kohler. They never reprimanded Dr. Ian Roberts. Principals cannot ask teachers to change grades without reason. Donna Hawkins confirmed she couldn't validate the plaintiff's claims, even though she had the memo which made the request. So get this. She's the legal counsel. She was supposed to investigate. She said, well, I don't have any evidence that Ian Roberts did that. Meanwhile, she had the memo that Ian Roberts wrote.
Roberts did that.
That said, change the grades.
Yeah.
During the school year, 2008 to 2009, the plaintiff reported that Dr. Ian Roberts allowed academically ineligible students to play on the basketball team. Donna Hawkins' investigation declared that the school didn't have a basketball team, even though Donna Hawkins didn't question any of the basketball players or the coach of the basketball team.
Oh, my God.
It gets worse. Donna Hawkins claimed she couldn't confirm the plaintiff's complaint, even though attendance records showed students attending Web Design 1 twice in the same day, even before and once after lunch. This is when the plaintiff said that they were fixing attendance records to make it look like they didn't have a truancy problem. And she had the attendance records in front of her saying that this one kid attended the same class twice in the same day. Here's my favorite one. During the school year, 2008-2009, plaintiff supervised a fundraiser at the school for cancer research. Procedure required the money to be given to the office manager. At the end of the event, the money was never returned for donation for cancer research. Jeez. Plaintiff filed a complaint to locate the missing funds. Donna Hawkins investigated the complaint, and her report said Dr. Roberts spent the cancer funds on school supplies.
Sure.
Declaring that Dr. Roberts did nothing wrong. Wait a minute, that's the definition of doing something wrong. You raise money for cancer research. You spend the money on school supplies. I did nothing wrong. No, you literally did something wrong.
It's amazing. It's incredible.
And so, obviously, this Ian.
And also,
what is it
me
about
with the
this
school supplies?
Oh, I know the school.
Yeah.
But what is it with this Svengali-like spell that this Dr. Ian Roberts with his accent and his oddly trimmed
exactly
beard.
what this spell is. It is DEI. This is DEI in action. And I remember 4 years ago when I was first started on this show and this DEI madness was taking over right after COVID.
Yeah.
And they were canceling advanced math classes. And I said, this is DEI in practice.
That's right.
And this is what's going to happen. And this is yet another sort of tentacle of DEI. When you shut your eyes to actual qualifications, when you don't do proper background checks, because all you care about is the color of their skin or where they came from or, just these sorts of things, this stuff slips through the cracks. Or it doesn't slip through the cracks. It doesn't, and they don't even look at it.
And it's always sold to us that this is it's for the children. It's for inclusivity for the children. It's for and the children get harmed. I know you know where we are. Hold your thought. We've got more on this. I want to hear from you. I do. So remember this time what you were going to say. And we've got more in terms of the litany of crimes this guy has committed, his rap sheet that never got investigated, coming up in just a moment. It's 6:44.
Later this morning on the Chris Plante Show, the Democrat man that wanted to assassinate Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh is asking for a break because now he's a lady named Sophie. 9 a.m. on WMAL.
Dr. so-called Ian Roberts was a charlatan, an illegal alien criminal who should have been deported years ago, but instead he was elevated to the level of superintendent of schools of Des Moines. Before that, he was a principal here in Maryland. No one checked his credentials. No one checked his background. And as you pointed out, Julie, it's all in the name of DEI. And I was just saying, we're always sold that it's about the children. You want to help the children. Who gets left in the dust here? The children of Baltimore schools whose grades were altered to show that, pretend like they were literate when they weren't. They're the ones who are now facing issues and problems and surviving in our society. And Ian Roberts somehow gets to succeed at the highest levels.
Yeah, look, I think it's also really important to say that this is yet another example of how parents are treated in the public schools. I couldn't go and have lunch with my child. I wasn't allowed in the school to have lunch with my child. I was banned from the school. This was post-COVID, right? They changed everything.
Was that
before.
because of that incident with the Cool Whip and the...
Larry,
it wasn't you,
no.
not you specifically. It was all parents. I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure.
It's the gin and the pencils.
Right, exactly.
No. But and again, the having to do a full body cavity search in order to go on a field trip if you're a parent. I mean, the disrespect towards parents. And then this guy is hired. He has gun charges. He had a deportation order. They didn't look into any of that. And I will say, too, we experienced this in Alexandria, Virginia, when Gregory Hutchings, as you remember fondly, I used to concentrate on this a lot.
Yes.
He was brought in to be the superintendent of Alexandria Public Schools, absolutely destroyed the schools, brought race into every classroom, brought DEI into every decision. And he had been, his previous job in an Ohio school district was so bad, he caused so much drama in that school district that he was featured in a Washington Post. The Washington Post went to Ohio to feature this guy. This is way before he came to Alexandria. And so I remember when he was brought in, I did a little bit of research on him, and I thought, did they not look at the drama that he caused in Ohio, in this Ohio school district? Again, bringing race into things.
Right.
And the answer is no. It didn't matter. He was black, and he checked these boxes.
He used all the right buzzwords.
That's right.
If you look at any of the speeches and public utterances of this Dr. Ian Roberts, he sounds like the lawn sign you see in front of every Alexandria home. Hate has no home here. We believe in science.
Yes.
Trans rights are human rights. All of that. That's all they have to say. And, of course you have the job. Here's $300,000.
Yep.
Ian Roberts was convicted of reckless driving and unsafe operation and speeding in Maryland in 2012. He was convicted in Pennsylvania of unlawful possession of a loaded firearm in 2022. He has charges of criminal possession of narcotics and intent to sell, criminal possession and forgery instrument, and possession of a forged instrument in New York dating back to 1996. Wow. And, by the way, in the country illegally, facing deportation. But he was a hero for the school board in Des Moines. He's a hero for educators everywhere. And this entire thing needs to just turn our system inside out. Everyone should be scrutinized. Everyone should be held up with this magnifying glass so we can take our schools back again for our children. It is 6:53.